Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the East Riding of Yorkshire series. Together with the unparished city of Hull, it forms the county of the same name. There's 172 parishes here. Which one are we in today? Welcome back to the East Riding of Yorkshire and to a village which sits right on the edge of the Holderness coast, although it's debatable how much longer it will, to be honest with you. Plenty of coastal erosion in this part of the country, and we'll see the effects of that later. Let's have a walk around Holmpton. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Holmpton is another village and civil parish in the Holderness area of the East Riding of Yorkshire, located just to the south of Hollym and to the north of Easington and Spurn Point. Here, we are approximately 3 miles south of Withernsea town centre. Holmpton lies just inland from the North Sea coast and it borders the sea, although that's a coastal border which is ever shrinking. Holmpton once had its own coastguard service in 1841. The village had a rocket house, which contained a rocket that the coastguard sent up in rough weather to warn ships. That's because the coastline off Holmpton is notorious for shipwrecks. 2 sailing ships called the Baltic and The Rapid were wrecked in the 1800s, and the MV Canada, a Danish vessel, was hit by a mine in 1939, the wreck of which is still here. The Greenwich Meridian passes through the parish, but there are no markers for it here. That will be something you'll have to wait for the next episode for. Holmpton is mentioned in the Domesday Book as Homlytone, a mixture of Old Norse and Old English. It literally translates to mean island village, suggesting it may have once been surrounded by water. That might make sense when you consider that nearby Hollym was originally Holderness Lake. Given how much the east coast is eroding away, it might not be long before that becomes a reality again. Oh, and there's some RAF history to speak of here too. It's a lot for a tiny place. Welcome to Holmpton. We begin on School Lane, which is aptly named, and you'll see why in a few moments. Our journey begins at the Manor House. That's this large white building here. It's opposite the church, where there's a memorial to a plane crash. In 1942, an Avro Manchester bomber crashed on Mill Hill to the south of the village. It exploded on impact, killing all 7 crew. The plane was stationed at RAF Bottisford in Leicestershire. It had been charged with attacking the Blohm and Voss shipyards in Hamburg. This memorial has been here since 2009. The parish church of St Nicholas is a Grade 2 listed building. This is a small Gothic structure consisting of a chancel, a nave and a west tower with a pinnacle which contains 1 bell. The tower is of brick and was rebuilt in 1832. In the churchyard there's some Commonwealth war graves, and this one was very unusual. There's a sailor that lays here, but he's not named. The church was restored in 1874 and the stained glass in the east window was presented to the church by William Parker and his wife Charlotte, who were the owners of Holmpton Hall in the 19th century. We'll get to Holmpton Hall in a little while. Here though, there's another old building of note. This is the rectory, which was rebuilt in 1821 before being sold in 1964. And there's one last thing about the church. Various villagers talk of underground tunnels that exist from certain houses leading to the church. Different theories around them range from use by smugglers to people worshipping religions in secret.
I like a fresh egg.
Nikki's found some fresh eggs. £1.50 for half a dozen, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Support local business, guys. There we go.
TVI pounds.
£1.50, yeah. And there's only one box in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So these people are now fresh out of eggs thanks to you.
Fresh eggs. Funny.
I am a comedian, what of it?
Hang on, let me show you them. Look at them.
So this is the old school, although it's not the first one the village has ever had. This one dates from 1862 after a rebuilding, and 25 to 30 pupils were usually in attendance at the school at any one time. The school was closed in 1961 and the building is now used as a village hall. You might just be able to make out the inscribed stone under the flagpole, which gives you the date of the rebuild. The residents of Holmpton didn't waste any time in marking the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. This is a bench which commemorates it, and a little further around the route there was a second one. Continuing the educational theme this road seems to have, keep walking to the east and you'll find Schoolhouse Nursery, which is pretty proud of the fact that Ofsted recently graded it good. So those houses that you just saw in the last shot, they were called coastguard cottages. Rather unsurprising when you consider the sea's quite close, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is Taylor Lane, or Taylor's Lane, I don't know which one it actually is. This will link us to Seaside Road, where we'll turn left and head back towards the main road through the village, and then we'll complete the circuit by going around towards Bumblebee Hall, which is a great name for a house or a hall or whatever it is. I don't know what it is yet, we'll find out when we get there. The village is without any major developments. The majority of it is designated a conservation area, and the lanes around the village are particularly attractive in the summer months. Here's Holmpton Hall, which became the chief house on the Holmpton estate in 1871. At Charlotte Parker's death in 1917, most of the estate was sold to the Hurd family, along with Manor Farm and North Farm in 1919. There has been little non-agricultural employment in the village through time. At any given point in the 19th and 20th centuries, there were usually 7 to 9 farms in the parish. Holmpton was a self-sufficient village in the 19th century. It had a blacksmith's, which we thought might have been here, and it also had a wheelwright's, a grocer's and a tailor's, and possibly a brickworks. This next thing I thought might have been some earthworks. It turned out not to be. However, Riceham Garth farmhouse just to the south does have some earthworks, as it stands on a former moated site. This though is Bumblebee Hall, which is a great name for a property. Google lists it as a historical landmark, but in reality it's just a characterful period farmhouse. So once past Bumblebee Hall, all I have to do now is walk down this road here, and it takes us back to where we began. There's still, I believe, a phone box to catch. There might be a pub as well, not totally sure about that. So let's see what else I can find in the remainder of this walk. We pass Elm Tree Farm B&B next. This area of the East Riding is popular with tourists, as you might expect being close to the sea. This is ideal if you want a quiet place to stay while you're here. This is the George and Dragon pub. In the 19th century, it was known as the Man's Head. It's been closed since 2017 and was previously the subject of a closure application in 1926 for religious reasons. However, it survived back then because it was kept open as a place to look after the survivors of shipwrecks along the coast. Here's the phone box. It's got the village defib machine in it. Okay, we're round the village. Time to go and have a look at the sea. Like many other locations on the Holderness coast, the village is subject to coastal erosion. A measurement in the 19th century determined that the church was only 1,130 yards away from the sea. It was 1,200 yards away in 1786. That's a loss of 70 yards in less than 50 years. The road to the north, which connects Holmpton to Withernsea, is also under threat of coastal erosion. There's a strong belief that if we were to get a hard winter in the near future, this could cause the road to completely disappear when combined with the erosion by the sea. The cliffs at Holmpton are made of soft boulder clay, which is easily eroded. Via the process known as longshore drift, eroded material here is washed down the coast and deposited at Spurn Point. A lot of land has already been lost on the East Riding's coast. There are entire villages all along it which the waves have already claimed. There are sea defences at Withernsea, but out here the cliffs remain exposed. So Nikki said something quite poignant to me as we were walking up to this, and that was, this might be the last time we ever see this, because who knows, next time we come out here this may have disappeared. It may be somewhere in the great big blue over there. And you had something to say about this, didn't you, Nikki?
Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, I think got one of the nicest beaches I've ever seen there. It's a beautiful, clean looking beach. Obviously, we're eroding, this cliff is eroding into that beach. Nothing's being done, and we're in danger of losing a really beautiful spot of our coastline. You know, and you know, we're all going to lose the land, and then these properties, these houses that we've just seen in that gorgeous village we've just been through are going to be at risk as well, which is shameful, really. It's awful. You know, I can't even think of the right words to say about it, if I'm honest. So last year we came up here, and it was like a private sort of visit, as it were. It wasn't anything to do with the channel. And you can see this sort of grassy edge here. We walked along that, like a little footpath, an unofficial footpath for a little way. And the side to the right hand side, the cliff side, there was a lot more of it than what there is now.
Right, we've got one more thing to show you here in Holmpton, probably the thing it's most famed for. Now, we can't actually get into it at the moment because it's closed due to COVID, and that is the bunker at RAF Holmpton. We can still stand outside it and talk about it though, and
yeah, why not?
And that's where I'm about to go right now. But first, you guys need today's picture bit. This is RAF Holmpton, built originally as an early warning radar station and now refurbished to act as a museum and archive. The site runs to about 36 acres in terms of area, and it consists of a number of surface structures along with a secure 35,000 square feet command bunker, which is about 100 feet below the ground. The exhibition opens throughout the year to visitors, and 75% of the bunker is included in the visit, apart from Area 7, which remains classified. The bunker was first built in 1951. In the 1960s, it became a master comprehensive radar station, and then in the 1980s it was used for training purposes until the late 1990s. Fast forward to 2004, and that's when the first public exhibition opened. Now, it was quite windy where we were filming this outro, so you can't really tell what we were saying. I'll just quickly summarise it for you, voiceover style. We were saying how it would have been nice to get inside the bunker and have a look around. I'm not sure how much we would have been able to film, but that's by the by. It would still have been better than just standing outside and talking about it. Never mind though, it was what it was. We then moved on to talk again about the coastal erosion and how Holmpton may not exist in its current form for much longer. It really is a case of come and see this place while you can. Who knows how much longer it'll be around for. Lastly, we then spoke a little about the local produce in the East Riding and how we were going to support some other local businesses on the way home. Although this little run of 6 was filmed slightly out of order, so there is one more on the Holderness coast coming your way next week. So yeah, we're going to go there and pick some strawberries on the way home. Anyway, this has been the Parish of Holmpton, and I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out!